Chasing greatness daily is about self-mastery. So what is self-mastery? It's breaking self-sabotage. It's keeping your word. Discipline over feelings. Confidence from a track record of success. Mental toughness, not motivation. Impulse control. Breaking the dopamine addiction. That addiction that is keeping you a prisoner. This is what self-mastery is. And I keep coming back to this concept. And the more I talk about it, the more I dig into it, the more I sit with it, the more I feel like it's true. That chasing greatness daily is the ultimate form of personal development, enacted through fitness. Because it creates all the things that we're looking for in life. As I said, self-mastery is what you need, is what you are chasing, it is what you are trying to gain from all of this. But it requires action. It requires doing the work. It requires building these skill sets, because that's exactly what they are. They are skill sets. They're not things that successful people are born with. They aren't things that you just wake up one day with. It's not something that you can acquire through money or talent or position or privilege. They are skills that are developed through daily action. And it must be daily. It must be repeated over and over and over again. Way more frequently than you think is required. Self-sabotage, most of the time, comes from an anxiety-fueled situation. So from anxiety around not taking action, from not doing the things that you know you should do, from not being in a position that you feel that you were in control. So you sabotage to take back control. Instead, focus on the areas that you are actually in control of. Your thoughts, your actions, and your habits. Take back that control of those things. Then, we talk about impulse control and delayed gratification. Things that are severely lacking in today's world. Especially delayed gratification and the impulse control are one of the things that I hope, above all else, that I can pass on to my children. Because I don't, and we're talking about skills, like we talk about building those skills. I am not one who was born with those skills. In fact, I was probably born at the other end of the spectrum. That my impulse control is horrendous. It is so low. Like, my ability to overcome my impulse control without concentrated effort is horrendous. It's part of the reason why I ended up in the situations that I have. To be honest, it's one of those things where I am shocked that I didn't either end up an obese alcoholic or honestly end up dead, because my impulse control and my levels of addictions are so high. It's why, unfortunately, I have, across my life, yinged and yanged, ebbed and flowed back and forth between these things. And it's why building this framework of chasing greatness daily is and will forever continue to be so fucking important to my life, because my impulse control is so low that if I don't make the concerted effort to keep that skill really fucking high, it just goes out the window and just disappears. Like, I am such an all or nothing type of person that it can be crippling. That I can't dip my toe in the waters of things. So I had to build a framework like this to build that self-control, to break my lack of impulse control, to work on delayed gratification. Because I need it now. I need it right this second. I'm reading it now. And it's why this has been so powerful and so impactful on my life. because it's all about delaying the gratification. It's all about just doing the work and winning the day. It's not about the end goal. It's not about the outcome. It's not about achieving X. It's about, in this moment, in this day, in this second right here, can I fucking win that? What can I control in that moment? And controlling that impulse and controlling that, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And I am a victim of my vices. That a lot of my life has been derailed. It's why in phase 3, I keep coming back to this notion of seeing what my human potential is if I remove all things that don't serve me, if I'm ruthless and sacrifice everything that doesn't improve my life, because I'm addicted to those things. Doom scrolling, TV, video games, alcohol, junk food, all those kinds of things. Spending money, dopamine chasing, just fucking all of it. My base level is to just give into those things, is to chase those things, is to just find as many of those things and, like a monkey at a slot machine, just pull the crank, pull the crank, pull the crank as many times as humanly possible. So I had to develop a format to build the self-mastery, to build the ability to overcome those impulses that are naturally there. Because discipline does not come naturally to me. It is a definitive choice, and it's why I must make those choices every single day. I must make those choices in the micro, that in every situation I have to choose the discipline over that. So it's not just one drink, it's not just one meal, it's not just one missed workout, it's not just one of anything, because they all add up and they all build into these things. So it is so incredibly important to be that person. And it's why self-mastery includes keeping your word. Being a man of your word is a huge thing. And I don't think it is valued as much today as it should. So many people will pass off, the value of keeping your word. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter, it's this small thing. But it comes back to that concept of the tree falls the way it leans. So if you can't keep your word on the small things, on the little decisions, as we just discussed, the discipline choices in those tiny little decisions that don't seem to mean anything. It's just one meal, it's just one drink, it's just missing one workout. They don't seem to matter to anything, but if you can't keep your word on those things, how can you keep your word on the big things? And if you can't trust yourself, why would anyone else trust you? Why would anyone else trust you and believe you if on the little things to yourself, you can't keep your word? That's why I firmly believe that being in great shape is such a strong indicator of who you are as a man. Because it screams that I can keep my word. It screams that I have impulse control. And I have had pushback on this and people have disagreed. And I'm like, look, okay, maybe in your teens, in your 20s, less so. There are people who are just genetically gifted and they can eat whatever they want and, youth is on their side and it'll be fine. But as you get into your 30s or 40s or 50s or 60s, as you take on responsibilities, as you have children, as you have bigger life choices, it is a very clear and definitive signal that you are someone who values being the best version of yourself. It clearly signals that you are someone who can keep your word. It is someone who can show up and do the work no matter what. Because you are going to be time poor. You are going to have time constraints. There are things that are going to be in your way. Like, just before Christmas, I went out with some mates and they were like, oh, I don't know how you make time to work out. I'm like, you're fucking single and work 9 to 5. What the fuck do you mean? How do you make time? You have it at the easiest level. You just make a fucking decision. And those decisions are, reflected in how your life is going. You have the time. You have the capacity. You can figure it the fuck out. And as we said at the start, removing all those vices, suddenly a lot of time opens up. The average person is spending between 6 and 8 hours a day on a screen. 6 to 8 hours a day. 3 of those are on their phone to social media. You have the time, you're just utilizing it on shit that doesn't fucking matter. You don't have self-mastery. You're wasting away your time. You're wasting your potential. As we discussed the other day, and you're disrespecting those who love you. So make better choices on that. Make better, more definitive choices on how you utilize your time. I guarantee you have enough time to do a 45-minute workout. I guarantee you that if you really pushed it, you could figure out the time to do a 45-minute workout and a 45-minute weighted walk. An hour and a half a day. Unless you are working 16 hours a day and all you're doing is working and sleeping, you can figure out time. And especially in the beginning, it doesn't have to be perfect. There are days where I crank up the weight that I put on my shoulders because the only time I have is included in family time. So I take my kids out on their bikes and I put some shit ton weight on my shoulders and I go for a walk. Now they get to quality time with me. They get out and exercise. They have fucking fun and I get my shit done. Usually those walks end up only being about the 2.5 to 3 kilometer walk, which is much less than my usual 4 to 4.5. But because the weight is so much higher, it makes up for that. But you still get it done. And that's the point. You can figure it out. And then on the flip side, I am leading by example for my children. I am showing them that I am a man of my word because daddy does a weighted walk every single fucking day, no matter what. They are seeing the value of exercise. They are seeing that exercise can be fun. Exercise can be enjoyable. Exercise can be family time. My kids love working out with me. I have a home gym. Yes, I recognize that I am privileged in that fact, but you could buy some fucking kettlebells for less than $100 and start that. My kids love to work out with daddy. They have their own kettlebells. They have their own setup because I lead by example. That I show those self-masteries. I show those disciplines. So my daughter at sub 20 kilos can deadlift 24 kilos. Not because I've done anything, not because I've forced her to do anything, but because daddy lifts it, so therefore she wants to lift it. It comes down to the choices. It comes down to your willingness to master yourself. And if you can't master yourself, how are you going to master anything else in life? It comes down to self-mastery. It comes down to that choices of personal development and taking action. As I said, on the most basic and fundamental level, everybody knows the things that they shouldn't be doing and the things that they should really make better choices on. So start making those choices. Start taking the action. Majority of self-mastery is just making the right choices. It's really, really simple. It's like all the things we talk about. It's really, really fucking simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. You know what to do. You know what is required. You know the choices that would make a better outcome for you. You just have to start doing it. And be concentrated and give deliberate focus on it. What is it? A focused fool will achieve more than a distracted genius ever will. Because they show up. They show up and do the work. The majority of time, it's about consistency and effort. That self-mastery is just consistency and effort. It's about giving hands and daylight. It's about just showing up and doing the work. And no, there isn't a magic pill that will just instantly give you the ability to have consistency and effort. But there is a magic decision. There is the ability to make that decision and just do it and make that decision and make that decision and make that decision and just keep making the decision to be the best version of yourself, to show up as the best version of yourself. It's really that fucking simple. It really is that straightforward. that just keep doing those things so that you can be the best version of yourself, so that you can show up as the greatest version of yourself, that you can utilize these actions to build self-mastery. And I think building self-mastery is your duty, your honor, and your obligation. You owe it to you. But more than that, you owe it to your family. You owe it to your children. You owe it to your partner, to your friends, to everyone who counts on you. You owe it to them to master yourself, to overcome those impulse control issues, to overcome those vices that derail you from doing the things that you know you should do, to master those things that are going to allow you to lead your best life. You must be ruthless and sacrifice the things that do not serve you, that do not build the best version of you, that do not deliver any fucking value to your life. And I think that's what we need to keep coming back to, that you need to honestly and seriously ask the question, are these things actually delivering value to my life? Are these things actually providing any form of value? Or am I just pissing away time? Am I just wasting time doing shit that doesn't fucking matter? This is the question that you need to ask. This is the question that you need to start asking yourself. Now, if you're ready to actually, truly step into becoming the best version of yourself, into self-mastery, into stop pissing away time on personal development and actually take the actions that will develop you into the best version of yourself, shoot me a message. Let's get you into chasing greatness. Let's start that journey and taking the actions properly. Now, if you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. And lastly, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Spread the word. But most importantly, subscribe. It helps me, it helps you. I am here every single day, sharing from the front, sharing these lessons as I go through this journey. And I want to help you. So make sure that you don't miss a single episode of this, because I'm here every single day. So hit that subscribe button. It helps everybody out. But I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then.